Welcome to the West Indian Women Network. I am Priscilla Ramcharan here in the United States, originally from Trinidad and Tobago. And I have another phenomenal guest here who will tell us where he's from and introduce himself and tell us about his work. So thank you and welcome.
Hi, Priscilla. Good morning. And hello to all your viewers and your active followers. So my name is Britton Wright. I'm tuning in from Jamaica.
Woohoo!
I'm a member of a nonprofit organization called Jaiku Poetry, headed by Casey Garvey. I'm a poet and just all around creative in general. So I'm just here to showcase what I'm about and what Jaiku is about as well. So thank
Awesome.
you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so happy you agreed to come on. I met Casey earlier this month and she talked so highly of you. So I said, we have to get him on our channel.
Yeah, no
So that's
problem.
wonderful. And other than poet and creative, do you do anything outside of poetry and Jaiku?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm a multifaceted creative. So um, I very much enjoy photography.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
exploring different genres of photography at the moment and just enjoying a recently acquired camera and just gradually building on my skills as well as gradually acquiring, a few more pieces to my toolkit, so to speak, as time goes by, and just enjoying the process and also utilizing it within the creative space of poetry, showcasing our poetry, capturing pictures of performances as well as obviously videos of our performances because within our team we all play different roles and we all have our unique strengths as team members in Jaiku. And one of my strengths is just being that person who curates the online presence for Jaiku across the various platforms as well as my own online presence. So it's really fun to integrate photography and videography into the creative process of showcasing our poetry. So that's
Absolutely. Wonderful. So you definitely are multifaceted. What genre do you dabble in?
what genre of poetry you mean?
Uh-huh, yes.
Okay, well, I would definitely say that I'm also diverse in that regard as well.
Okay.
But in some sense, you can describe some of my pieces as dope poetry, but it doesn't take that traditional dope poetry cadence or style. I try to I break it up a bit, so to speak. It doesn't stick to that traditional formula of what you would expect for a dope poem to sound like. And it typically has a very specific traditional pattern. It's like the boy did go down the road and we see him a run down the toad. The boy did go down the road and we see him a run down the toad. So there's a very rudimentary, kind of simple way that people tend to create dub poetry, but I try to step out of that traditional pattern that everybody expects, that predictable pattern. And I also explore other styles of poetry like spoken word. I share my pieces both in standard English as well as in Jamaican Creole or Patois.
Hmm.
I'm especially proud of my pieces that I do in Patois because I want to continue the tradition of showcasing Jamaican language and our unique Creole, because it's a very beautiful and colorful Creole. And I don't think we as Jamaicans appreciate it enough. And I want to showcase or bring across the message that we can still be very, how do you say now, very outspoken, very articulate and intelligent, while also embracing our Creole, our native tongue. It doesn't take away from our ability to enunciate and to elaborate and to clearly express a point. If anything, it adds to it and it helps to color it. So we ought to be proud of our Creole. So that's why I tend to push those pieces even more.
That's beautiful. Really well said. I love that. So my question would be, what motivated you to get started with writing and exploring all of these avenues and really embracing your culture and the language? Because I could totally relate, but what got you started?
So I would definitely say it's many different things got me into poetry and just the creative journey in general. And I would definitely say one of them is just for the sake of my own personal development as a young man, I wanted to be more confident. I
Mm,
wanted to be able to step into certain spaces and feel comfortable owning that space, even in the discomfort of the internal feelings of nervousness that may arise just from simply being a human being. And poetry in the performative sense, in the public sense, where you're presenting to others on a stage or in front of an audience, it can be a very vulnerable experience. It exposes you. It exposes you to the potential of judgment from others. People are assessing how you speak. They're assessing how you look, how you come across in your body language.
mhm.
You're assessing all sorts of micro expressions in your movement and your presence. So I embraced the opportunity that poetry allowed in the sense that it pushed me out of my comfort zone and it forced me to face my own vulnerabilities and embrace them and to learn how to deal with the internal discomforts that arise when you have to present in front of an audience and speak in front of others. Because I would consider myself more on the introverted side of the spectrum. So therefore, it's a beautiful thing when I can step out of that state of, introverted persona and present a more extroverted self. And it always catches people off guard. And there's a great, beautiful sense of satisfaction that comes with surprising people. Like they always see me as this really quiet, meek, soft-spoken person. But when I share my poetry and when I perform, I expand. And this other side of me comes out very assertive, very outspoken, confident. And, that's very much one of the reasons why I got into poetry. Like I said, for the sake of personal development. And it's also evolved into a deeper understanding where I've matured to the point where I understand that as poets and creatives, we have a responsibility as people who present in a public space to present a message of purpose. So that channels and that motivates my writing, and it forces me to be very intentional about the messages that I'm bringing forth and how I bring forth these messages. And I have to be careful of my wording and expression. And it all has to make sense. It all has to serve a purpose. We can't just write for the sake of writing. We have to question and evaluate what we're creating and what the value of what we're creating is. What effect will it have? What reaction will it garner? So definitely those are two of the main reasons why I got into poetry, you know. And it also serves the purpose of self-soothing and self-regulation from a emotional and psychological standpoint. We all need safe spaces, or we all need things that soothe and help to relax us. So poetry is one medium where I find that solace or inner peace, so to speak.
Absolutely. And every author, writer, poet who just heard what you said can totally relate. 1,000%. Absolutely. When you're in that mind space and you're really just pouring your heart out onto the page, pages and pages of drafts and revisions and proofreading and reading it out loud and hearing how you sound, it's a whole process. It's messy. But the
Absolutely.
final product, when you see like, whoa, I did that, it's a breath of fresh air. Now, I've checked you out on social media with your reading and performances. And yes, when you are on that stage, you totally dominate the attention. All eyes are on you, and you can feel that passion because the audience can tell if you're being phony, right? They can tell, oh, they just put some words on a page. No, yours is completely like you said. I've witnessed it from watching. And it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, the space that you're in and how your audience gravitates towards your performance. So kudos.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
For the reactions and the type of positive reception that I garner when I perform, whether it be in front of a familiar audience or a new
Mhm.
audience, always met with great gratitude from me, you know?
Absolutely. That's how you know you're on your path.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
where your sweet spot is, as they say. Awesome. Thank you for that. So, what inspires you each day to create a piece or start a piece or just get writing?
Um, it's knowing that I'm serving a purpose in bringing forth positive messages that can impact and inspire others. That's a very big driving force in what we do as Jaiku and what I do as Britton Wright. I'm very much driven by the fact that we have a social responsibility and we have the power to effect change in our society and change in the world around us because of the power of our words and the messages that we can bring forth when we effectively express through words.
Absolutely, for sure. So that brings me to my next question. Do you experience writer's block, and what do you do to get through that kind of gray area?
Yeah, absolutely. As a writer, as a poet, as a creative, there are definitely times when I'm challenged with not feeling sure of what to write or
Mhm.
how to write what I want to write. Sometimes it's a thing where I can't find a suitable topic or I may be stuck on a piece. And sometimes it just requires us stepping back from the work, giving it a breather, maybe a few days, sometimes even a few weeks. It really depends. Because some poems come to us very naturally and almost effortlessly, and some take longer to create. And sometimes the inspiration is just there, and then there are definitely seasons when it doesn't come as easily. But during those times, I tend to take a break, focus on other passions or hobbies, and then eventually I just get drawn back into the space. Maybe I watch somebody else perform and I find some sense of inspiration from that. So there are myriad of ways that we can reconnect with our work during times of creative drought, so to speak.
That's really great. Yeah, I like that. Take a break, walk away. You might get a clue somewhere around as to what to do next. And for me, I go through my previous pieces, all of my ideas and drafts, and just like browse through, maybe I'll find something. So that
Yeah,
I always say, don't let it get to you, let it come through you.
true, because
I
you don't want to be forced.
Right. And like I said, the audience will know if you forced it.
Absolutely. They definitely pick it apart and detect that there's something off about your performance or your expression.
Absolutely. So have you ever experienced something like that where you're on the stage and it's just like, I don't know?
Well, absolutely. I've experienced, I guess, the full spectrum of challenges that may arise during public showcasing and performances. And one of the things that definitely happens from time to time, and it's just something that I've come to accept the inevitability of it, and also it teaches me to be gentle with myself. Sometimes we'll have slip ups. During
Mhm.
performances, you may misplace a word or mispronounce a word or just kind of get lost in your own train of thought. Sometimes you're performing in a distracting environment, or someone in front of you may have said or done something that momentarily distracted your train of thought. So sometimes you have to pause mid performance and kind of regather yourself, reground yourself, or just go over the line that you might have mispronounced a word in, etc.
Mhm.
Sometimes it also allows us to improvise. Like
Mhm.
sometimes we know the poems, we know our work, but the audience doesn't necessarily know. So sometimes there are ways that we can mask the fact that we may have missed a word or
Right.
misplaced a line, and it doesn't really come across. So we end up recovering quickly from that. But there are definitely those nerve-wracking moments where you're like, oh man, what was that word again? Or how did this line go again? So it goes back to just spending time diligently with your own work, ensuring that you know your own work, so that when you present it, it's presented in a professional and a very natural way. And that kind of segues into what Jaiku is about. We envision a space where poets can really present in a very highly polished way as a
Mhm.
full package, as performers who have mastered their craft and who come off with an effortless, easeful display of literary prose. That's the level that we want to elevate poetry to in Jamaica and in the wider Caribbean. So that's a part of our vision and our mission.
I love that. And I'm so happy that, I've met you all and I learned a lot about your organization and I'm here to support in any way possible.
Likewise,
And
we
yay.
definitely appreciate the support and the enthusiasm. It does tremendously. It definitely is a source of motivation to keep us going because it can be a very challenging space, and
Mhm.
we're very much in a very transitional period right now where we're sorting out all sorts of miscellaneous documents or certain legal stuff to get us properly officiated and all of that. So
It'll
any
work
form
out.
of motivation and encouragement and support is always appreciated and welcome, for sure.
Absolutely. And it'll work out for you when your heart is in the right place. Everything will come at the right time. Same thing like writing.
Very
Timing is
true.
everything. Yes. And it's also a learning experience because if we don't make mistakes, if we don't mess up, we won't know what that next level is that we need to get to. So it's
Yeah, that's
really the full package, like you said.
True.
Awesome. This is a wonderful interview. I'd love to have you back again. Maybe you can share a piece. Do share your socials, and I'll put it in the description box for our audience to check it out and support. And
Perfect.
I just have to make a quick announcement before I forget. We're having our Read Ya Ting poetry contest this Thursday, and we may have a special guest, wink, wink. So do look out for our flyer and tune in on Thursday at 6 p.m. New York time, Eastern Standard Time. Woohoo! So I know I've taken a lot of your time and I've got a lot of information. Do you have a final message for our viewers?
Absolutely. For your viewers who are fellow writers and poets and creatives, and who may be aspiring writers and creatives, just keep doing your thing. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the negativity. We all suffer from some degree of imposter syndrome at times, but just try to surround yourself with positive, encouraging people, and just continue working on your craft. It's okay to make mistakes. We make mistakes to learn from them, and just keep pouring into your work and inspiring others around you. So that's really my message.
That's awesome. And ask for help. Beta readers are amazing. If you find the right one that resonates with your craft, you get that second opinion, it'll help you definitely do all the wonderful things that you want to do. So,
Absolutely.
yes. Well, thank you so much. Do come back. And what else? I guess we'll talk to you soon again and we'll wink, wink, maybe see you on Thursday.
Yeah, for sure. So let
Awesome.
me share our social media. So as Jaiku, we can easily be found across Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok
Okay.
at Jaiku Poetry. So that's at Jaiku Poetry. Jaiku is a play on the term haiku, which is a
Mm,
form of Japanese poem. So we just say Jamaican haiku or Jaiku, right? So you can find us easily with the same handle, same spelling at Jaiku on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And myself, Britton Wright, you can find me at Britton Wright's Poetry on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So that's BrittonWrightsPoetry. That's Britton Wright's Poetry across all those social media platforms. That's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. So thanks so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure elaborating and sharing about Jaiku and about myself. I'm very grateful
fantastic.
for having been present on your platform and just interacting with you. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Me too. You are an awesome interviewee. You did a fantastic job. So this will be amazing for our community, our Caribbean community worldwide.
Absolutely.
So thank you
So,
so much. Say bye-bye.
bye, and thanks for tuning in.
Yahoo!